Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we will be discussing our strategy for GS3. So across my 6 attempts and 6 mains that I have written, my score for GS3 has been consistently above 90, which is one of the highest scores when it comes to GS3. Out of these 6 mains, in 3 mains, I was able to score more than rank 1 of that particular year. For example, this is my GS mark sheet of 2023. My GS3 score was 99, which in 2023 was one of the highest score, and that year the highest in GS3 was 102. If you look at the rank 1 Aditya Srivastav sir's mark sheet of GS3, that year he had 95 marks. Now this is not a single year or not a fluke that I was able to score good marks in GS3. I have been consistently able to score good marks when it comes to GS3. For example, if you look at my mark sheet of GS2 in 2022, my score was 92, and that year the score of rank 1 Ishita Kishore ma'am was 88. Similarly, if you look at my mark sheet of GS3 in 2020, my marks were 95, while the marks of rank 1 Shubham Kumar sir were 92. So out of the 6 mains that I have written, I was able to score more than rank 1 3 times. So I believe this strategy for GS3 has helped me across years, and this is what I wish to share in today's video. So today's video for GS3 strategy would be a general strategy that we will be discussing, and in the upcoming videos we will go subject specific, and we will discuss the subject specific strategies when it comes to covering GS3 and scoring good marks in GS3. So before discussing the strategy or the right way or the right approach, I would like to discuss what are the basic mistakes, what are the common mistakes that a lot of people do when it comes to GS3. Now these are the mistakes that I have seen in the journey of my friends, in the journey of a lot of my mentees, and I have noticed this to be very common mistakes that a lot of people do. The first and foremost mistake that a lot of people do is worry a lot about current affairs. Now when it comes to GS3, there's a myth of current affairs. आप में से भी बहुत लोगों ने सुना होगा या बहुत लोग इस myth में जी रहे होंगे कि GS3 is a totally current oriented paper. Now this is a very big myth, and I would like to bust that myth. When it comes to GS3, I believe from my experience of giving 6 mains, mentoring hundreds of students, and analyzing the GS3 paper since 2014, I have realized one thing. When it comes to GS3, the static themes are more important than current happenings. For example, if you pick up the economics topics in GS3, you will see that there are a few repeated themes जिसपे repeatedly UPSC question पूछ रहा है. जैसे GS3 में economy के अंदर you will always get a question on unemployment, be it types of unemployment, or the 2022 question on what are the measures or changes in unemployment calculation that is needed. Then MSME is one such repeated theme. Inclusive development is one such repeated theme. जैसे इस साल 2025 में भी you got a question on inclusive development on financial inclusion index. So rather than focusing more on current happenings, current affairs, you should be focusing more on static themes. Now how to get to know these static themes? The best source for that is your PYQs. So I would like everyone to go through the PYQs of GS3 and recognize the repeated themes. Be it economics, agriculture, internal security, disaster management, you will get hold of a lot of repeated themes. We will also discuss a few themes as we go ahead in today's session. Now, the second mistake that a lot of people do with respect to current affairs is focus purely on current affairs, purely on current happenings. Now, if you look at UPSC in general, be it for prelims, mains, or even for the interview stage, you will notice one thing, that UPSC focuses more on contemporary affairs and less on current affairs. Now, what I mean by contemporary affairs, see, contemporary affairs are the things that have been in news for more than 1 or 2 years. And these are the issues, these are the themes that have been in news, in debates, and UPSC asks question only on them. For example, if you pick up the 2025 GS3 paper, you will get a couple of questions that a lot of people will categorize as current affairs, but I believe they are the questions from contemporary affairs. For example, the first question is PLI wala question. So this topic of PLI has been in news since COVID, since the Atmanirbhar package of COVID and the new reforms that were brought in Indian economy. So it is more of a contemporary affairs question. Similarly, the HDI and difference between HDI and inequality adjusted HDI is one more such theme that has been in news and for years, and that has been asked by UPSC. So always keep in mind, UPSC focuses on contemporary affairs and not on current affairs. So rather than focusing on one minor fact, one minor data point that is coming in newspaper, focus on the underlying debate, focus on the underlying issue that is being discussed. So contemporary affairs over current affairs. Now, the third important thing with respect to current affairs is that a lot of people ignore one thing, that current affairs when it comes to GS3 is used only for value addition. So the only utility for current affairs in GS3 is value add. So use your current affairs, be it your newspaper or your magazines, be it your monthly magazine or your 365s or any current affairs class compilation. Use it only for value addition, that too value addition in topics of the underlying themes, underlying debates that are in news, that have been in news for years. Now, how to do this, we will discuss as we go ahead and discuss the note making strategy also in today's video. The second common mistake that a lot of people do is give skewed focus or skewed attention to the subject given in GS3. Now, a lot of you who have been preparing know that GS3 is made up of many subjects like economics, agriculture, science and tech, environment, internal security, and disaster management. Now, economy being a big subject, a lot of people pay too much of attention on economy and too little attention on smaller subjects that they feel are relatively less important, like internal security and disaster management. This is a blunder to do, because if you analyze previous year questions, you will realize that UPSC gives near equal weightage to economics, agriculture, internal security. For example, if you have gone through the previous year questions, you will realize that the question number 1 to 11 and 12 of GS3 paper are economics questions. Similarly, question 3, 4, 13, 14 are of agriculture. Question number 9, 10 and 19, 20 are of internal security. So you can see here that the weightage for economy is of 4 questions, and similarly the weightage for internal security is also for 4 questions. Now, this is a mistake that a lot of people do, that they give too much of importance or too much of weightage for economics and ignore rest subjects like agriculture, like internal security, which I believe are full toss balls. So rather than giving skewed focus, skewed priority in GS3, I would recommend everyone to give each and every subject its due weightage. Also, this skewed priority comes in while attempting the paper, that we will discuss as we go ahead in today's session. So make sure that you are giving each and every subject under GS3 its due weightage. That is, economy should be given equal amount of weightage like internal security. So do not ignore internal security. Internal security, in fact, is a full toss ball. Disaster management, in fact, is a full toss ball when it comes to GS3. Now, the third common mistake that a lot of people do is generalization of GS3. See, when it comes to GS3, I believe it is the most objective paper amongst the 4 GS, because the subjects under it, be it economics, agriculture, internal security, disaster management, environment, science and tech, have some amount of objectivity in it, unlike the other GSs like ethics. So even while GS3 being objective paper, a lot of people are scoring less because they are generalizing their answers when it comes to GS3. Now, why this generalization happens? The first and foremost reason for generalization is non-prioritization. Now, non-prioritization is not being able to write the specific points first in your answer, and rather writing filler points in your answers in the beginning. For example, these are a few answer copies of a few of my mentees who were writing this year's mains. So if you look at their answer, the question was on inclusive development. Now, the first candidate here, the question is asking factors that have led to inclusive growth in India. If you look at the points given by the first candidate, you will see that they are writing the society wala points, be it women-centric growth or agriculture and farmer-centric growth, youth-centric growth, as their priority points, which will leave a very bad impression on examiner, because examiner will think you are not knowing the specific points that have led to inclusive growth, so you are writing these filler points. If you look at the same answer written by another candidate, you will see that he or she is writing very specific points, be it financial inclusion, and not just writing the point but also giving data to substantiate it. Growth in MSMEs, again showing the employment rate in MSMEs, new avenues of growth, then agricultural growth rate, manufacturing sector, poverty and trickle down effect, and giving substantiation through data, through graphs. Now, in these two answers, you can see the difference. Why? If you are writing the filler points first, automatically your answer seems very generic, and this is the major reason a lot of people are scoring very less when it comes to GS3. So when it comes to GS3, you need to prioritize your points. Now, how to do that? We will discuss it specifically when we take up each and every subject in the upcoming videos. So the first mistake in generalization is non-prioritization. The second mistake is non-substantiation. See, what I did when it came to GS3, I followed a thumb rule of, if I am writing 5 to 6 points in one subheading, at least 60% of my points should have some substantiation. This substantiation can be some data, this substantiation can be some fact, this can be some report or some example. So if I am writing 5 points, out of the 5 points, at least 3 points in my answer will have some substantiation. And this is what will differentiate a generic answer with a specific answer. It is substantiation that will lead you to show the examiner that you are knowing the topic in depth and you have a good hold over the subject matter. So make sure that whenever you're writing GS3 answers, you add substantiation in the form of data, in the form of report, in the form of facts and examples. So not doing substantiation also is a big cause of a lot of people not being able to score good marks. At the end of the day, even a common person can tell you the reasons for inclusive growth, but it is when you give substantiation that will differentiate you from the common crowd. It will show that you are well aware about the reasons, as well as you're giving proof to your arguments. So do not avoid substantiation. Follow the thumb rule of substantiation in at least 60% of points that you are writing. Now, the third common mistake that a lot of people do is writing examiner unfriendly answer. See, when it comes to UPSC Mains, the examiner that is going to check your copy has no motivation to check your copy. He has no motivation to give you marks. So you need to make your copies more examiner friendly. Now, in order, like the common mistake that leads to examiner unfriendly answer is firstly invisible data. Now, what I mean by this, a lot of people do write substantiation, do write data, but that data is somewhere written within the points and it is not visible. So invisible data is writing data in such a way that it is not upfrontly visible to the examiner. So in order to avoid this, you need to draw graphs when it comes to giving data. Okay, so do not do this mistake of writing substantiation but not writing it in such a way that it is not visible to the examiner. The second reason for examiner unfriendly answers are writing words over keywords. See, what I mean by this is writing very verbose answers, writing English over content. Now, this is a mistake that a lot of people do in GS3. GS3, again, as I said, is specific subject. You have very specific topics in GS3 and objective subjects under the paper. So you have very subject specific keywords, and the moment you write subject specific keywords, automatically you will see your score is rising. For example, if while writing the issues of MSME, if you have to tell the issue that Indian MSME sector sees that there are a lot of small and medium micro and small firms and very less medium enterprises and large enterprises. So rather than writing these 2 or 3 lines, you could write the problem of dwarfism or the problem of Peter Pan syndrome. So the benefit of writing keywords is that it will save a lot of time, it will save a lot of space, and it will show the examiner that you are well aware about the topic and you have specific knowledge about the topic. Ultimately, we through our 50 pages, we are doing nothing but we are convincing the examiner that you know specific things about the topic and you deserve those marks. So keywords will help you again show with proof to the examiner that you know specific things about the topic. So make sure that you are writing more content than English when it comes to any GS, and more so when it comes to GS3. And this is a mistake that a lot of people do. So do not worry about grammatical correctness. Do not worry about explaining each and everything. Do not think that examiner is not aware about what is happening in the world. So write as much content as possible and write it as specific as possible. Write keywords over words rather than the other way around, that is words over keywords. Now, the right way. So these were the few common mistakes that a lot of people do. So what is the right strategy to follow when it comes to GS3? And this is the strategy that has helped me score 90 plus across my 6 mains and score one of the highest marks in 2023 when it comes to GS3. So the first and foremost thing that I want you guys to do is identify the recurring themes. Like I said, your PYQs are your gold mine when it comes to your UPSC prelims and mains. So the first and foremost thing that I want everyone to do is go through the previous year questions, be it from 2014 till 2025, and recognize the recurring themes that are being asked. So for example, if you go through economics ka previous year questions, you will recognize that unemployment is a very repeated theme. Then there's inclusive development. Then you will also have the recurring theme of let's say MSMEs. So make sure that you are identifying these recurring themes. When it comes to agriculture, integrated farming system, food processing industries, buffer stock, these are few recurring themes. Similarly, when it comes to disaster management, water depletion, disaster management environment, you will see that water depletion or groundwater extraction is a repeated theme, landslide is a repeated theme, floods and urban flooding is a repeated theme. So similarly, if you look at internal security, you will realize that when it comes to the questions in internal security, you will get one question on left wing extremism every alternate year, you will get one question on cyber security every alternate year. So there's a pattern to the way UPSC asks question. You will get a question on terrorism or its link with organized crime every alternate year. So if you look at 2025's paper, you will realize that UPSC has asked a question on left-wing extremism. You will realize that UPSC has asked a question on terrorism. And then, so the first and foremost thing to do is identify these recurring themes. Now, the best way to do is through previous year questions. Go through the previous year questions of each and every subject of the 6 subjects given in the syllabus and recognize these recurring themes. Prepare a list of recurring themes. Now I have prepared one such list of recurring themes and I have already shared it on the Telegram group. You can join the Telegram group through the link in description and get access to that recurring themes ka PDF, where now after doing the first theme of identifying recurring themes, I want you to do the second theme of preparing issue based notes. Now on each and every theme, on each and every issue, I want you to have a good note. For example, let us take the theme of agriculture marketing in under the topic of agriculture. Now your notes should be such that it covers each and everything related to agriculture marketing, be it various initiatives, be it the issues with respect to agriculture marketing or the current initiatives, what are the various measures suggested by different committees or the various laws, the issues or challenges with respect to these measures, and then good committee recommendations. For example, let me show you my notes of agricultural marketing. So you will see that these notes has the significance of agriculture marketing, what is the need of agriculture marketing, then secondly, what is the need for regulating agriculture marketing, right? Then you will have the topic of APMC, what are each and everything related to APMC, what is the issues with respect to agriculture marketing, then the model Agri Produce Act of 2017 that was suggested by Niti Aayog, what are its provisions, what is its significance, then what are the various government steps taken and what is the way forward. In way forward, what are the recommendations given by Niti Aayog, then what are the recommendations given by different committees, what are some best practices like Raitu Bandhu scheme of Andhra Pradesh, Apni Mandi of Punjab. So in all, in short, you should have good amount of notes in on each and every topic that are arranged in such a way that if there is a question on any theme or any issue that is given in your that is included in your notes, you are good enough or you have good enough content to write the answer. So the second thing to do is, after identifying the themes, prepare theme based notes. Now when it comes to notes on agriculture, internal security, disaster management, I have uploaded my own notes on the Telegram channel. You can download it from them and use them as your base notes and do some value addition as and when there is a issue that comes up in current affairs, so that you can again add value to your answers. Now the third thing to do in your GS3 preparation is to do a value addition. Like I said, the biggest mistake that a lot of people do is write GS3 as a general paper. This is a very huge mistake to do. So you need to do value addition. In order to do value addition, you need to have your one pager notes ready. Now these one pager notes will have all the data related to the theme. So whatever theme that on which you have prepared notes, prepare a one pager note out of it, which includes all the data related to it, all the committees related to it, then some quote related to it, some diagram or schematic related to it. So these one pager notes are nothing but whatever all the value addition things that you will compulsorily include in your answer if there is a question on that topic. For example, let me show you my one pager notes. For example, these are the compilation of my one pager value addition notes. So the topic of digital payments, you will see that I have all the data related to digital payments. Then I have committees related to digital payment, and in 2023 a question came on digital payment and the status of digital payment. I had all these value addition content, and I was able to write this. I was able to show this, that there are 22.4 digital transactions per capita, that has increased for 2.4, and in order to make it examiner friendly, I made sure that I am drawing a graph that earlier it was 2.4, now it is 22.4. So it is examiner friendly, value added content, and way forward with committees automatically will ensure that you are scoring good marks. Like from my own case, in that same year of 2023, I scored 99, which was again one of the highest marks in GS3. So make sure that you are preparing such value addition one pager notes that includes all the data, all the facts that you will compulsorily add. For example, let us pick up any topic from your internal security topic. Let us pick up the topic of Northeast. So this year there was a question on Northeast insurgency. So you could have introduced with a quote of second ARC which says that Northeast exemplifies a stable state of anarchy where rule of law is overthrown for political and personal reasons. So this will again differentiate your answer from a lot of other people. So make sure when it comes to preparing your one pager notes, you have some quote, some data, some steps that are taken by government, and way forward. In way forward, you have committees and some best practice as well, and a diagram that is ready. If you have all these things ready, automatically you will see that your score jumps because you are able to replicate these things in answers. And now again, I have shared these value added one pager notes also on my Telegram group. You can get hold of them and use them as your base notes and do value addition as an things as and how things develop in current affairs. Now the second thing to do for value addition is prepare a list of subject specific keywords. For example, when it comes to challenges that Indian economy or manufacturing sector faces, like the challenges that we had discussed in MSME, Peter Pan syndrome, dwarfism, missing middle syndrome, poly crisis, or the Chakravyuh challenge, twin balance sheet challenge, four balance sheet problem, all these subject specific keywords, you need to have them so that your answer again looks specific, your answer feels specific. Now what are the sources for these subject specific keywords? The best source that I believe available in market are MK Yadav sir's QEP notes and Dipin sir's current affairs notes. So what you can do, if any friend of yours has joined these courses, you can take hold of those handouts and prepare a list of keywords, and those keywords would be more than enough when it comes to writing answers and writing specific answers in GS3. So for value addition, prepare your one pager notes, prepare subject specific keywords. Again, I have shared my list of keywords, my compilation of keywords on the Telegram group, which you can download from the group by joining through the link in the description box. Now, the fourth thing to do to increase your score when it comes to GS4 is bringing innovation and creativity while writing answer. See, the examiner is bored checking all our copies. He has to check hundreds and thousands of copies. So whatever thing you do to make your copy unique automatically will be rewarded by the examiner. So make your copy examiner friendly. Like if you have to give some data, make sure that you are giving the data through graph. For example, the digital payment data that I discussed, rather than writing that it has increased from 2.4 to 22.4, it is always better to draw a graph, simple one line graph to show that it has increased from 2.4 to 22.4 transaction per head per day. So automatically the data that you are writing in the answer becomes easy and digestible to the examiner, and it is easily visible to the examiner, and which will ensure that he is rewarding you for writing it. Secondly, include flowcharts while writing questions on agriculture. Make sure you are writing drawing some schematics, be it integrated farming system. If there's a question on integrated farming system, draw all the elements of integrated farming system. Show a small farm, animal husbandry farm, then a fisheries farm, and show how through a flow chart, through a cycle, show how each and everything is integrated and leading to an integrated farming system. So make sure that whenever there is a question on agriculture, you add some schematic. If there is a question on food processing industry, draw the upstream and downstream linkages through flowchart. It will add something new to your copy. Ultimately, everybody will be writing more or less similar content. It is how you stand out by writing the same content will decide on how much marks you are getting. So make sure that you are making your copy examiner friendly, adding graphs, adding flowcharts, adding schematics. Now all these things you will not be able to do on the spot in the examination. So you have to preempt all the topics and prepare them beforehand. For example, if you look at my GS3 notes that I used to revise before entering the examination hall, you will see that I have diagrams ready. For example, if there is a question coming on cyclone, I am going to draw this diagram. For example, if there is a question coming on urban heat wave, I am going to draw this simple schematic which is showing that if in villages the temperature is low, in cities it is increasing, and in forest again it is low. So it is showing the urban heat island effect. So if there's a question on disaster management, I am going to draw this disaster management cycle. So make sure that you are preparing such schematics, preparing such quotes and value addition, all those examiner friendly things beforehand, so that it will ensure that you are incorporating it in your answers. For example, like I said, all the whenever there is a question on food processing industry, I am going to draw this diagram, the upstream and downstream linkage, showing the whole supply chain of food processing industries. Now this will make sure that my copy is standing out. So make sure that you are preempting the topics, again preempting it through analyzing PYQs and preparing such value addition examiner friendly things to ensure that your copy stands out. Now the last thing to do in GS3 is to write solution oriented answers. Now the subjects under GS3 like economics, like agriculture, like internal security, like disaster management need some way forward. So this is something that I did compulsorily in my questions on economics, in my questions on agriculture, internal security, disaster management. I gave way forward compulsorily even if the question is not asking, because it is in way forward that I have scope to write committees. It is in way forward that I have scope to give best practices. It is in way forward that I have scope to write case studies. So make sure that you are in writing way forward while writing the answers of economics, agriculture, internal security, disaster management compulsorily, even if the question is not asking, because this is what will differentiate your answer. This is what will show subject specific answers and will show that you are not a status quoist, but you are someone who is solution oriented, and automatically it will leave a good and positive impression on the examiner, as well as your answer will end on a positive note. So make sure that you are compulsorily writing way forward, and for this again your one pager notes should have all each and everything compiled beforehand, be it committees, best practices and case studies. Now I have done this task over the years of writing 6 mains, and I have already shared it. So use it as base and try and prepare it, try and add value to it as and how the current affairs things come in current affairs. So lastly, how should your answer look for a GS3 question? The first and foremost thing, you should follow the IBC structure, that is intro, body, conclusion. Now under IBC structure, when it comes to introduction, your introductions in GS3 answer should start with some data, either some report or some recent context. The idea of writing definition based introductions in GS3 is the last option to hold, because if you are writing definition based introduction, it is making your answer copy very generic. So avoid definition based intros. Use it as the last resort when you have nothing left to add in your introduction. When it comes to body, again like I said, in body you need to do two things: prioritization and substantiation. Now, with respect to prioritization and substantiation, we will discuss them in detail when we pick up each and every subject. We will have a couple of videos, one on economics and agriculture and one on internal security, disaster management, science and tech and environment. In that, I will tell you in detail how to write the body part of the answer, how to prioritize, how to substantiate your answers. And the last thing, conclusion. Like I said, when it comes to economics, agriculture, internal security, disaster management, make sure you are giving a way forward. That is compulsory. And also when it comes to economics, agriculture, you can write quotes in your conclusion, for example, or the various dictums given by Prime Minister. If there's a question on internal security, you can write the dictum of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. So make sure that you are writing quotes in your conclusion. So I'll show you one of my answer copies of GS3 and show how I used to write and what is the thing that has helped me score such good marks across years. For example, this is the Abhyas copy of mine, which is written in time. So the question is on food processing industry. So I am starting it with budget, calling it as a sunrise sector. You can see that I am giving data in most of my points. I am making this data again examiner friendly by giving a graph. Then when it comes to writing points, you can see majority of my points have substantiation either through an example or some data. And lastly, there's a way forward. Even if the question is not asking, I am giving a way forward. Similarly, there's a next question on PDS. So I am starting with some data. again drawing a schematic, the schematic that I showed for food processing industry, I again improvised it for the supply chain of PDS and drew similar. Again, if I had not prepared that beforehand, this would have not come up in the time I am writing the test. So again, you can see I am writing data and committee to substantiate my points. I am writing keywords to substantiate my point, and ultimately giving a way forward in this answer. So whatever things we discussed today, we will discuss subject specific things in the upcoming videos, one on economics and agriculture, and second on the rest of the four subjects included in GS3. So make sure you follow and subscribe for more such videos and subject specific strategies, and all the notes that I shared today in today's session, be it agricultural notes or the notes on the value added notes, have been shared in the Telegram channel. Do join the Telegram channel through the link in the description, and make sure that you are using them as your base notes. Okay, thank you and all the best.